It's cold and dark. I'm going in the snow. Without my dad. Without my mom. But with a random cultist. And I think it's a very smart idea. And that is the Lodge. Not really, but kind of a small little synopsis of the Lodge. The Lodge is directed by the person who did Goodnight Mommy. If you haven't seen it, it is a movie that came out, I think, 6 years ago. It was a very interesting, different foreign film, and now they're going into the American territory doing The Lodge. So what is The Lodge really about? Well, it is kind of how I said in my little intro. There's two kids, the dad, and there was a mom, but the mom committed suicide for a specific reason. But then the dad is going to marry this cultist who back in the day was basically in a religious cult, and everyone in the cult committed suicide except her. But when he wrote a book about her, because she's a kind of a psychopath, he fell in love with her. But now all of a sudden, during Christmas, they're going to go into the lodge with the girl, the two kids, and her dog. But the dad is going to go away because he's on a business trip. So they're going to try to get together, I want you kids to know my new girlfriend, man, and I want you to kind of get along, and so we'll go to the lodge, and you guys get along during Christmas. But of course, during that time, something cynical, sinister happens, and will any of them make it out alive? So what did I like about The Lodge? The Lodge is a fun, unique, different. Okay, fun is the wrong word. Unique, yes. Different, kind of different. You kind of see this story before. It's not really a fun movie. It's very different with how they're going to try to show what is happening in this movie. It it's kind of weird because in this movie you're like, what are we trying to do with this movie? Because it keeps pushing towards a dollhouse in this movie, kind of like Hereditary, but not really. But you're just like, why do we keep flashing back to these dollhouses? What does this dollhouse have to do with the actual story, what these kids are doing, as well as this crazy cultist lady doing? Do they like each other? Or is there a prank going around? Is she really just insane in the brain? Does she need those meds? Because if she's not on the meds, she kind of goes into the cult atmosphere. Are these kids playing a prank on her? Are they actually doing like a Sixth Sense thing with this movie? So they try to push a lot of different things around. And I thought it was going to go one way, but then I understand why they went a different way. And I understand how people might not like the ending of this movie, but you kind of know what is happening with the ending. I don't like the turning. You're like, I have no idea what the hell just happened. Like, no clue what the fuck just happened. At least at the lodge, you know what's going to happen. And you know it's not going to be a pretty picture at all with the ending of this movie. But I could see a lot of hate for this movie just because it is one of those slow burns of, I don't know what's happening. I do not know what's happening in this movie. What's the point of this movie? And I could understandably complete that because I was thinking that the same way through of like, okay, what are we doing? Because honestly, there was a scene that was like a July 9th scene, and I was like, okay, I can kind of see what's happening. But then they go into territory of something else, and I'm like, that's not really believable. But then at the end, you're like, okay. But the problem is, none of these kids would be put in this situation if it wasn't for the dad. I don't think the dad would ever put kids in that situation knowing who this girl was. That's just me. And also just a little scenarios of something that happens to the dog, and then something happens with all the stuff, and everything like that. So you're just like, what? Like, I don't know if any of this is really believable. I do understand what they're trying to do with this story. It's not a scary story. It's more of a suspense, cultist movie. I've heard it was delayed a couple months. I don't know. It was supposed to come out in 2019. Now it's February 2020. Here it is. But The Lodge, it's a unique movie. Will I ever watch it again? Probably not. But is it one of the worst horror movies of this year? No. The Grudge is still worse. The Turning's still worse. And what else was there? I haven't seen The Boy 2 yet, so I can't really say that. Gretel and Hansel was better, and Fantasy Island was worse. So this doesn't make it a great movie or a bad movie, but I watched the Angry Joe review where they're saying it's the worst movie 2020. I wholeheartedly disagree. The Turning is far, far more of a worse movie. This one, though, does take its source material very seriously, and it does put you in an interesting spot. But I just wish I knew what they're trying to do with some of these scenes, which they just don't explain at all. So The Lodge will receive a 2.5 out of 5 with Futons. It goes at 50%. So see the critics' news scores gave this film, I'm pretty sure the user score is going to be below the 50%, but let's see. Actually, it's not as bad as I thought. Critics is 71% with 133, and the user score of 48 with 80. And here's critic consensus. Led by an impressive Riley Keough performance, The Lodge should prove a suitable, unsettling destination for fans of darkly atmospheric horror. I mean, I can't disagree with that. Let's see, one of these classic movies I find very boring, creepy horror film, disturbing, isn't a perfect treat. I mean, it's not a perfect movie at all whatsoever, but the ending, yeah, it's pretty messed up, and I understand what they're doing. It's not gory at all. There's a couple blood spatter scenes here and there, but nothing like ridiculously gory. So it's not like that, but I can see how people could find this one very boring. But do you agree with the 71, the 50, or the 48? Chase like the Blue Futon. Comment, subscribe. One other thing is Futon, Toby, you Boo Tony, and thanks for watching. Have a great day. I've been falling behind because of homework, but it is still going to see. I still need to see The Call of the Wild, The Boy 2, and The Assistant is out in the theater near me, but I don't know if I really want to watch that. But I still want to watch everything in 2020, but that's actually a 2019 movie, so we will see. I'm squinting a lot. But yeah, Lake Tahoe, here I come.